Part of it was being on the streets, and what a challenge for us and for our team to be out on a box, which in our country, you get on a box and start to talk about God. You're an outcast, you're hateful, you're all these things. But it wasn't what we expected there. We were very hesitant at first, I think, to do that.
I was not excited about it, only because most evangelism that I've seen personally has not been good. Basically, it's like very judgmental and telling people, that they're wrong and that they're going to hell and stuff, which I dislike with a passion, because that's not how Jesus ever approached anybody.
When we partnered with one of the ministries there called On the Red Box, and what they do is they do street evangelism, and so we partnered with them on that. And so pretty much what we did is we went to the marketplace, and we found a spot in the center of the marketplace with multiple people around, and we would stand on this trunk, and we would take turns sharing testimonies or doing object preaching, trying to gather a crowd.
Obras malas que hemos hecho y va a ver que han contaminado el resto de nuestras vidas. For example, this drop of ink. Un ejemplo es que esta gota de tinta can represent the smallest lie. Puede representar una mentira, una mentirilla.
Afterwards, we would have about, a few minutes to kind of converse with the people that were standing around. And if they had questions, we would try to answer them to the best of our knowledge. But we were really just trying to bring Christ into focus for the people of Spain and really bring his influence to those people.
When you recognize that one out of 1,000 people has probably heard that message. 1,000 people walk by, it's probably one of them has heard about Jesus, the way that we were presenting it, sharing it. It helps you to recognize I have an opportunity and even probably a responsibility, bordering on obligation, to really be bold and share this, because they may never hear this again.
Missionaries Kevin and Karen, they are actually the two we partnered with from On the Red Box. And both of them are very great people. Their hearts for evangelism and reaching the unsaved is amazing. They gave us tools on how to do evangelism and how to be effective in preaching conviction and not condemnation, and just doing it in love and not with a tone of coming down on somebody.
I got a totally different perspective on evangelism and what it's all about. And when we went on the street and I watched them tell stories, very, descriptive stories, very, with pictures and props and things like that, and asking people questions instead of telling them what they need to do, asking them what they felt needed to happen in their lives.
So we didn't condemn, we didn't do any of that, we just shared, and every day somebody responded, and it was pretty incredible.
I sort of think you should preach tonight.
For me?
You're on fire.
With the coffee I have,
Yeah.
everybody will go, where.
Where would they go?
Everybody will have to really be convicted.
Hold nothing back?
Oh, that's great.
First impression of Scott, he was super sarcastic, and it was awesome because you don't really get that with with a missionary. You expect the whole super spiritual, don't say anything questionable.
Marissa is a Spain native from northern Spain, the Basque Country, and Scott, he is from here in the U.S., but he went over there actually to work with Teen Challenge, so it was really cool. We got to connect on that level because I'm actually a Teen Challenge graduate, and I felt very privileged to have an open door like that, just to have an immediate connection with the missionaries. I've been on other missions trips that sometimes it takes a few days of warming up to somebody, but I felt like these guys were family right away.
It was just really cool to see missionaries that took the time to invest in a team. Even though we were only going to be there for 2 weeks, even though we were going to go back to our own church and they may never see us again, I felt like they took every opportunity to invest into us, to love on us, to bring out the best in us while we were in Spain.
They just have so many life experiences, and every time they spoke, it was just amazing and just great learning experience being around them and being with them all the time.
You can tell that they value God and His will before anything else, even themselves, and that their foundation really is based on their relationship with God, not a desire to have a name or a title or build themselves up.
I am free to live for you. I am free to live for you. I am free.
I just really fell in love with the people of Spain. It's funny because I have a close friend who is Spanish, of Spanish descent, but also visited Spain not long ago, and he told me when he came back how prideful the people were and arrogant, and he just didn't really enjoy his time there. So that stigma kind of stuck with me, that, I hate it, but that stereotype was kind of in my head a little bit of, got to be ready for arrogance, got to be ready for cold people. But I can't think of an instance where that was the case. In Madrid or in Seville, or where we were spent most of our time in Bailen and the province of Jaén, they were just so warm and so welcoming and so loving and so open and so considerate and compassionate and caring. And I've gotten emails back from people. It seems every week I get an email from somebody in Spain just saying how much our time there meant. When all I can think is I was so impacted by these people who love God and love others. And when I talk about it with people now, I just share how much I love Spain. I love the people. And God's doing something very unique there. And I'm excited to hear as Chrissy goes back and maybe others from our team go back, or we just keep in contact, just what God does in Spain and Jaén and Madrid and everywhere else. But I would encourage anybody, even if you're not a follower yet, or you know the Lord, whether or not you do anything for the kingdom while you're there, I would encourage you to go, just to experience the culture and, more importantly, the people. And if you are a believer, would you go? Would you go and serve? Just consider it even. Go and serve God there and just see what He wants to accomplish in Spain.
How's the scenery in Spain? There was tons of olive trees everywhere. Miles and miles upon miles of olive trees.